Guys, we're back with another Evolve Stage 2 video, but today we're doing something a bit different. We are going... Wait a second. Okay. So today we are going over the best assault hunter or character, whatever you want to call it. So to start off, you can obviously understand that they all have defense matrices or matrices. So that will basically not come in play except for with Renegade A. So starting off with Markov, you got the basic lightning gun this is basically the basic character, starting character that you get with this normal lightning gun, high damage, basic thing. And then you move over to his assault rifle, which is meant for the long range battles when like your lightning gun isn't in range, you could say, it's pretty decent. I wouldn't say that it's very good. He's probably like the lower tier one. And moving on to his arc mines. Arc mines, basically what I call every deployable thing that you can just put on the ground. I basically call that useless for me, because honestly, I never put down things, and the monsters never run into my things. So Markov, he would have to go on my lower scale of things. Then moving on to our second hunter, which is Blitz Markov. He is basically a upgraded Markov. With his Tesla gun, it does high damage, but the longer you stay on him, the more damage it actually does. So that's basically like pack-a-punching or upgrading your weapon right there. His assault rifle stays the same, but has a smaller clip, but I really don't use the assault rifle that much, to be honest. Tesla mine, basically everything Blitz Markov has is an upgrade. It's just a normal mine, which I personally don't use, but the longer it stays on the ground, the more damage it does. Then moving on to Hyde. Now Hyde is, I would say, better than both of the Markovs, personally, but he uses his high damage flamethrower, which contains a lot of ammo, and does a lot of damage to the monster. But then when you get onto longer ranges, you can use the minigun, which is also a stacked weapon. It has a huge clip and high rate of fire, and will absolutely obliterate the monster. And thankfully, he doesn't have anything you have to place on the ground, so you can just throw toxic grenades at it, and it unleashes a big field of just poison that damages the monster. So this one, Hyde, I would say, is a very good one to use, except that's not my favorite, personally. Though moving on to Parnell. Now Parnell, he is also very good. His normal form is okay with his combat shotgun. It's okay. It does high damage and all that, but it's pretty slow at firing. Then moving on to his multi-fire rocket launcher. That one I wouldn't really use that much, but actually it's pretty good. It's half and half, But if you combine either of the shotgun or the rocket launcher and you use your super soldier, high rate of fire, high reload speed, high weapon swap speed, you are an invincible tank. You just spray, and it increases your fire rate so much. And you're basically a tank from then on. Then moving on to our fifth hunter, which is Torvald. Torvald, like, he's a challenging hunter to use, mainly because of his secondary weapon. But starting off with his auto fire shotgun, that's a good weapon to use if you are in any situation. You don't have to spray or anything. You just have to tap it once, and it unloads a clip of just bullets into him. But then moving on to his mortar cannon. Mortar cannon is a very, very difficult weapon to use, because you have to get the timing right, you have to get precision right. You can't just lock onto him. You have to get an arc area on the ground, and then it takes some time for the cannons to drop. It's just hard to use. Though moving on to the shrapnel grenade, it's, you know, I would say, as I said, another mine that you place on the ground. Personally, I never use those, so it's basically useless because most of the time the monster doesn't come into your area or just doesn't step onto the mines. So moving on, I would say this is the best assault out of all the assault characters. This is Lennox. She has a plasma lance, which is basically such an OP lightsaber, which does a lot of damage, and then over time, if you keep on repeatedly hitting the monster, you get more and more and more and more damage with every successful hit you get. And once you get to the maximum point, she's just unstoppable. And then even if you aren't in that range with the lance, you can just switch to the autocannon, which is basically like a death machine or like some heavy LMG, which has huge clip and a huge rate of fire that just mows down the monster. And then if that isn't good enough, in your super close quarters, you can just use the Thunder Strike, which basically you just leap onto the monster, smack him down, and that does a crap ton of damage right there. So that would be my personal favorite. It even has gold camo, which I'm going to try to grind my way up to that 25 silver keys, 25k. Then moving on to the last one. Now, Renegade Abe, he was such an OP character when he first came out. Now he's become more of a weaker assault, I could say, especially when they lessened his defense matrix. But other than that, he has a poison shotgun, which I would mainly just use like the normal shotgun first, and then just spray 2 clips of the poison part of it into the monster. So I would like alternate between poison and non-poison bullets. Then weirdly enough, his secondary is a grenade instead of another weapon. But his grenade, it's okay. It's another poison grenade, but it does okay amounts of damage. I wouldn't say it's the best or anything, but personally, I don't think Renegade Abe is good now because he doesn't have anything good except for his shotgun. Like his nerve toxin dart, that one is just basically a pistol that shoots a tiny bullet of poison into a monster. That basically does nothing. So yes, overall, I would say that Lennox is the most OP assault character out of all the ones you could choose. Even though it says challenging, I still think that this is the best assault. If you guys want more like the best medic, best monster, best trapper, all of that sort, subscribe or comment down, whatever you want to do. Hope you guys enjoyed this anyways, and peace.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's